One of the interesting challenges we have is we don't know how individual variation affects longevity and resilience with age. And one of the challenges we have is that each of us would like to be more resilient and live longer and be healthier, but we only have an individual of one for our experiment. So let's say we take a particular supplement A. Will it make us live longer or not? Well, we don't know because it's only a study of one. We don't have a control. So one of the things that is very important is that you do well-controlled studies and find out what things are most beneficial. And so, for instance, some of the nutrients to increase mitochondrial function regulate this cofactor I mentioned before called NAD. NAD is a very critical factor in the mitochondria that carries the hydrogen from foods to the mitochondria to be burned with the oxygen. So NAD levels decline with age. So there's a growing interest in whether, in fact, if we increased our NAD level, whether we would age less and do better. So I had an interesting event occur. Someone saw a New York Times article about NAD and longevity, and I was called and asked if that person takes these precursors to make NAD, would they live longer? And I said, well, I can only tell you that they'll live as long as they live because I won't have a control whether they took the NAD or not. But I do think that there are population studies that can be done that can show, if properly controlled, that some of these supplements are helpful. And there's a lot of interest, for instance, in nicotinamide riboside, which is a precursor for NAD that people are studying. And so we have something unique in our group. We've created a series of mice with different known mitochondrial DNA mutations. So a single mutation, and these mice get each different mutation gives one of the classic diseases, autism or cardiovascular disease or dementia or so on. So what we've done is taken these mice, and now we can get 100 mice that are genetically identical and 100 controls without that mutation. And then we can give them nicotinamide riboside. And in some cases, it does help. So I think that kind of controlled experiment is what we need to really help people find the right ways to increase the probability that they will do better. But right now, there is no absolute answer to the question of what supplements are going to be best for longevity. One thing we do know, exercise and a low carbohydrate and a low fat diet are always good for you. So that's been shown for hundreds of years. So that we can say for certainty.
Yeah. One of the things I'll just mention here for people is you said, I think you chose your words carefully. You said a low carbohydrate or a low fat diet.